The speaker, members, I wasn't planning come out to speak. That's why I don't have a printed script. I just scribbled down some thoughts I want to share with you. I am for the bill. I am for the bill. Like whenever I heard somebody say that they are the 5th generation of Texans, and I always remind myself, I wasn't that lucky. America, Texas, is not my motherland. I'm an immigrant, but the America and the Texas, this is my chosen land. So I do understand why it is so important. We need to have national security and all those things to protect our freedom and democracy. This morning, Chairman Charlie Garrett said that to me, Angie, you are probably the most diligent state representative. And I was laughing. I said, well, then I bet that somebody else works harder than I am. But I have to take this pride. I usually come here early to prepare myself because I know in this country you have given me so much, and I have to work harder than everybody else to prove, well, not really to prove, to demonstrate I am a proud American and proud Texan. But I do have to warn everybody, share the thought with everyone. 16 years ago, when I first started to run for the seat, because Senator Florence Shapiro called me up, she shared with me her experience being a Jewish, and her parents are the Holocaust survivors, and they have those tattoos on their hands. And she said, Angie, no matter how far you're going to go, how high you're going to climb, if you don't have a political influence, you are nothing. The freedom, liberty, everything can be taken away from you. But I said, not in this country. This country is made of good people. This country is not perfect, but it would be kind of boring if everything is perfect. But I tell you, every day I just full of appreciation to serve and to be here. But I'm not going to blindfolded and tell you everything is perfect. 16 years ago, when I first knocked upon the doors, doing the block walking, I had people shut the door and say, I don't want to talk to communist Chinese. That was 16 years ago. But you know what? Even last campaign, at the early voting time, somebody drove through where I stood in front of the church and back off the car, rolled down the window. I said, oh, sir, you have a question for me? And he says, Angie Chen-Button, Chinese communist. And I'm a lady, so I don't say that word, but it starts with a B, okay? Go back home. I just kind of smiled because we have several other people over there doing the early voting campaign. I said, I guess he didn't vote for me. Everybody just laughed. But you know what? This bill, our community, our Asian American community, do have a lot of concerns of unintended consequences. That's why my dear colleague, I call him my cousin, you know, Representative Matt Shaheen, because a lot of Asian Americans in my district, they made more money, they all moved to his district. And that's why he and I were standing here working on the amendment. I know not everyone has been supported, but majority of the Republicans, as long as the Democrats all supported, and I'm so appreciative. And some people say, well, they still have some concerns. And actually, earlier, my dear friend, Representative Chairman James Frank dropped by my desk. I said, I'm still worried about the unintended consequences. He said, well, don't worry about that. Russians, Americans, don't worry. And I look at him, I said, Russian Americans might look like you, but a Taiwanese American, a Chinese American, I don't look like you. Isn't that true? So I am supporting this bill because it is to protect our country's freedom, liberty, national security. But I do have to say that, please bear in mind, a lot of people still have that fear in their heart. So this morning, when I introduced the delegates from Taiwan, I was so happy and so proud of many of the colleagues from both sides came to shake their hands, like Miss T visited Taiwan before. You know, that's all wonderful. But is this world perfect? No. We have to make choice. Once again, this is not my motherland, but this is my chosen land. And I'm here to protect the liberty and freedom of my chosen land. I'm for this bill.